The stars and planets align. The day the architects permit my uncanny design.
It's been about 3 years since our last interview. You literally just dropped your album. That was, I think it was season 1 of our head-to-head series. We're now in season 5. I think you was also present for our interview with Soul Messiah last year as well. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Was that on Zoom or?
It was also on Zoom. Also on Zoom. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because obviously
I remember the interview we did before. Yeah, once you jog my.
All right, amazing. Yeah, so obviously we've been really looking forward to having you in the UK. I know that there was supposed to be a tour, was it a year or 2 ago?
Yeah.
And we had to reschedule.
Yeah, we did.
Right. Yeah, so it's incredible.
Because I think when we were supposed to come back before it was pandemic. I think.
Yeah,
that was the first time it got postponed in 2020. Was the pandemic.
Right. So you had obviously you had a lot of plans, and then pandemic did its thing, and you had to put the album out during the pandemic.
Exactly, which was interesting. It was good in a way because people were home and they, a lot of people were using music as a way to cope and get through, this experience. We were all, with social, with a lot of the social tumult in the world and injustice that we were protesting and fighting against in the pandemic. So like people were home and using music as kind of like a tool to kind of fuel them and as like their safe haven and stuff. So I think that more people were able to kind of sit with it and run it up. So, I mean, it had positives and negatives for being released during the pandemic, but it is what it is. Timing is everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And obviously us in the UK are very excited to see you live next week. But tell us a little bit about the tour so far. How's it been going for you?
It's been going really well. I thought it was gonna be so cold. I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, y'all gonna have me bundled up out here in Europe. But it's been going really well. Like I said, the first 4 shows that we started with have been with a live band. It's with a nonprofit organization called SKANDOUZ that uses the creative arts to kind of galvanize around social justice issues and stuff. And I performed with a full, I don't know, what is it, 6-piece band? 6-piece band, Soul Messiah on the turntables. And it was really dope. I think it was a really chill intro to this tour, which is going to be back-to-back-to-back shows. But it was different from like our normal thing, which is MC, DJ, turntables, where we can really get into, I can get like super energetic and like I can do like my full catalog of songs. But I love it. It was a nice way to ease into it. So, But I'm coming for y'all. I'm excited.
Oh, amazing. Will you be bringing the band with you or?
No, it was just for the first 4 shows.
Right.
But we're thinking on how to incorporate that in the future. The band in the future.
That's amazing. So so just to obviously whet the appetites of the UK audience, what would the UK audience expect from a Sa-Roc show?
High levels of lyricism, high energy, high vibration. I feel like my music is ministry, and not in a religious sense, but in terms of using music as a form of connection, of healing, of, elevation for me and hopefully anybody listening. So like you get all of that experience in the show. So I'm full in it, like with my body, my voice, everything. Whether it's a song where it's more contemplative or introspective and I'm singing and rhyming at the same time, or if I'm just getting like grimy and it's bars, you're going to get the full extent of me. And it is a hip hop show. If you are a fan of real hip hop, if you're a fan of, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but like, well, maybe I will toot my own horn. If you're a fan of, just someone who really is dedicated to the craft and is serious about executing that in like the highest way possible. That's what you're gonna see. That's what you're gonna see, a little bit of everything.
Okay, amazing. So talking about some of the first 5 shows you've done, do any particular cities stand out to you at the moment, where you got a really warm reception that you might not have expected?
I think I expected it. In Antwerp and Rotterdam, last time we did this is the second time I performed with Nased, and those 2 cities were always really energetic and receptive and warm. But Rotterdam, something about Rotterdam, like they are ready to see a hip hop show. They want all of it. They want like, so I ended up like jumping into the crowd in Rotterdam and just performing. Cause I get like, I hate, well, not hate, that's too strong a word. But like I get bored when I see performers just kind of like stand with the mic and they're just like standing in one place, and you know, there's no real connection. I had to learn that over the course of touring and performing and stuff, like, you know, being able to be in it with the crowd, the audience. I don't always jump on stage. I don't always call people on stage with me, but if I'm feeling it, because it's a feel, you know, it's a vibe, you know. So I ended up jumping into the crowd and performing. What did I perform in the crowd? I don't think, maybe it was Goddess Gang. I'm not sure, but like it was really, really dope, you know, and everybody was feeling it and, you know, vibing with me. So I think that was probably one of the highlights. But every time we go to Rotterdam, like the energy is that they love hip hop.
Amazing, amazing. Obviously, when you were starting out, what would you say were like your key influences as a live performer? Who did you draw inspiration from?
I think honestly, KRS-One, 90s Lauryn Hill. Honestly, going on tour with Brother Ali, that was my first like kind of major tour. Brother Ali, I peeped how he like is able to kind of like talk to his audience, talk to his supporters, and like incorporate, you know, or just kind of, I don't know if it's like, it's not expository, like he's not like explaining the songs, but his dialogue or his monologue in between songs is an extension of the songs. You know what I mean? So I noticed that, and I thought that it was a really dope thing that he was able to have like this intimate connection through words outside of the songs with the audience. And so that definitely inspired me. One of my good friends who's an MC, her name is Dynasty. She also is super inspiring because she's super energetic, and like we've also gone on tour together in Europe, and people like that who are kind of like-minded in the way that they create music and very intentional about like what they're writing about, their music being an extension of them, of how they think, how they live their lives. Those kinds of people, you can tell through their performance that it's not just performative. It is literally they're on stage sharing a piece of themselves, a vulnerability that they get to do freely through their creative art. So those are the people who inspire.
Amazing. Since we last spoke to you, you went on tour with Rah Digga. You did the Talk to Me Nice tour, and you did a BET cypher. So please give us some what was those experiences like for you?
It was cool. So I'll start with Rah Digga. That was, you know, of course, the 50th anniversary year of hip hop. So that was a lot of fun because we were both unplanned. We were both like during our sets doing like homages to like classic hip hop songs. And I think everybody was excited to see 2 women in the game who are all about lyrics and bars. And we didn't hesitate to give it to them, you know. She is like amazing, you know, like big sis energy. It was dope seeing her, you know, a lot of people feel like there's this age cap on hip hop, and that once you reach a certain age, you know, you're not going to be as good or relevant or whatever. I dare you to watch a Rah Digga show, or, you know, anybody else who's over 40 years old still in this game and is not killing it the same way, if not more so than the people who are of this, you know, the younger generation. So yeah, so it was dope just kind of seeing her masterclass And then like some highlights on the tour of that, Pharoah Monch came through to the Brooklyn show, so that was dope. Was that Brooklyn? We'll just say New York because I can't remember if it was Brooklyn or Manhattan. So that was really dope. But I think that people were just really excited that we were celebrating like real lyricism, celebrating the culture, with, you know, two women at the helm, you know, one who was, you know, OG, and one who's, you know, I've been in the game for a minute, but, you know, I'm still, you know, making my name. So it was really dope. And then we did the Talk to Me Nice tour, which was dope as well. We had released a single by that point, so we were performing that song and kind of playing around with some new stuff that for the new album that we were workshopping. So London, y'all get a taste of some new stuff too.
Nice.
So yeah, so it was good. I love touring because that's another side of the creation process where you get to play around with songs. You get to add ad libs to, you know, songs that you've been doing the same way over and over again. You can switch it up, like, so it allows you to be even more creative on top of what you've already done. So that was good. And then we did, I did the Cypher. That was interesting, the production part of it, you know. It's such an experience, like being in front of like all these huge cameras, because I'm used to like shooting videos and stuff, but it's like my guy, my homeboy Tommy Nova, usually, and like people who we're familiar with, and they're, you know, they're easy with the camera, you know what I'm saying? You know what you're expecting, but like, you know, having these huge lights and in studio stuff with these humongous cameras was a bit nerve-wracking, but you know, we get in there, we do our thing. It was dope, you know, to be able to be selected by that committee. And the brother who actually tapped me for it, he's heading up some of the largest productions in the entertainment industry. I think that he did the Grammys. He did the Emmys. He's like, you know, his production company, his is like, you know, top tier. And, you know, he was a fan of what I did and tapped me to be a part of that. So it felt like an honor. It felt like validation. I'm always saying that I don't need validation for anybody, from anyone, and no one should need any validation from anyone to affirm that what they're doing is the right thing for them. But it does feel good when after all of your hard work, someone says, okay, let's give you, you know, another platform, something that you know, could benefit from, could elevate your status. So that was cool. And then we did the BET Awards after that, which was very interesting. It was very interesting.
Because
it was a lot of reality TV stars, and, you know, the whole, like, I don't know if you ever been to an award show, the whole stopping thing and the seat fillers and stuff like that is definitely not like what you see on television. So that was it was a cool experience though, you know.
And I see you also got to experience the red carpet as well.
Yeah, that was cool. It was and it was funny because, you know, I'm not a household name yet. And so, you know, they ushered me to like certain outlets, but then this sister who was a fan of mine, or supporter, I hate using the word fan, but she was a supporter of mine, and she was like, hey, Sa-Roc, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. She was working for BET at the time, she was a volunteer or something like that. And she specifically took me to all like the major outlets that they probably wouldn't have like put me in front of because they didn't know who I was or whatever. So that was like a blessing. I love how like the universe just kind of like opens up and puts you where you need to be. So, you know, we got people out here that's hearing the music, that's supporting the music, that are in the right places, that if we just keep grinding, staying true to ourselves and our art, that they'll and all the hard work will put us where we need to be.
Amazing. So when we spoke with Soul Messiah, he told us a story of when he first heard you rap in the studio. He gave you a beat CD, and and then obviously you blew his mind with what you returned. One question we never got to ask you in our first interview was, how did you find your way into music? Where did it start for you?
I think unbeknownst to me, I was always finding my way into music. I was surrounded by music, as most of us were. I don't know, I would say most. Yeah, most. My parents were music lovers and had like tons and tons of wax at the house albums. And once I learned how to like put the needle on the record carefully, I was able to kind of go through and play records on my own. And I can remember being like 6 years old doing that. So for me, I saw my parents using music as an emotional tool, as a way to really seriously, like a lifeboat almost, to get them through like some of the hardest experiences of their lives. They always conveyed to me that this group and this song helped them get through, like, when I was premature, in the hospital for a year, like this group and this song like helped them like survive through it. And so I've always had that emotional connection, like that deep emotional connection through music. And a lot of times the feelings and the vulnerabilities that I wasn't comfortable expressing outside of that, if I could hear an artist, speaking or articulating what I was feeling, I would use that as an emotional outlet. So I wanted to sing at first when I was younger. I had dreams of being on the Apollo and all that stuff, not realistic, but that was the thing. But I always wrote like poetry, and I was an avid reader and I loved language and literature. So like obsessed with Toni Morrison, obsessed with Octavia Butler, Nikki Giovanni. Like we grew up hearing The Last Poets, like all of these things that were just kind of like weaving their way into my exploration of creativity. I wanted to be an actress. So there was always like the creative part was always there. I was acting in school and stuff like that. But I just didn't know that music would be that. I was super shy. Like that was not like something I saw on my bingo card, right? And so I had a friend, like we would like play around and like freestyle, which I'm terrible at. But like we would play around and like freestyle with like rhymes and stuff like that. So she was the first one that kind of like got me into exploring like rap in that way outside of just being a listener. And then when I met Soul Messiah, I had like all these poems like written. And I used to just vibe with his beat CDs like all the time. I thought it was so dope. He was working with all these dope artists at the time. So I was just getting inspired, like, oh, that sounds dope. I wonder how it would sound on a track. Let me see if I can, do one of my points to this. So like once I was in the studio, I was like, can I just see like what this would sound like? And I got on the track, and the thing that struck him most was the fact that I was able to be rhythmic with my recitation. Because a lot of times, poetry, as beautiful as it can be, doesn't necessarily translate to hip hop. Because there's specific like cadence, there's like flow, there's timing, all of these things that you have to be skilled in. And it has to come naturally. You can learn it, but it has to come naturally. So like that was one of the things that struck him. He had worked with female MCs before, and he's always had an affinity for like women MCs and stuff. So he was like, his wheels started turning like that. That's not bad. So he was like, write a few more. So we ended up writing a few more, and that ended up becoming Astral Chronicles, which was my first EP.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So over the years, what a lot of the UK audience might not be too familiar with, you've dropped, and correct me if I'm wrong, approximately about 19 projects or 13 projects. So so for someone listening right now who wants to get like, I guess, the cheat code or wanna what would you suggest, like 5 projects, Sa-Roc projects for our audience to check out prior to the show this week, just to really if they want to hear the best of Sa-Roc?
I would definitely say Sharecropper's Daughter, start with that. Then Nebuchadnezzar, for sure. I would probably say Gift of the Magi, Babylon. And then like some of the more Dang, there's so many like mixtapes and like EPs and stuff in the middle of that. A lot of people tend to like Stardust. Dang, that's hard. But yeah, that's five.
Yeah. And speaking of Sharecropper's Daughter, incredible album featuring MF Doom, Black Thought, Styles P, Chronics, such a phenomenal selection of guest artists. That dropped in 2021. Now you dropped some incredible contributions to Soul Messiah's debut album. When
Yeah.
should we expect another project from Sa-Roc?
I am hoping, fingers crossed, we can get something out by the end of this year. We are almost done. We have some finishing touches we need to do to the album, but you know, like with you got to do production, all that production stuff, the behind the scenes stuff makes it last a little, makes it take a little longer. But I'm hoping at the end of this year we'll have something new from Sa-Roc.
Fantastic. Is there a name to the project yet, or?
There is. I ain't spilling.
Okay. Wow, phenomenal. Okay. Well, I mean, I know you're really busy. And before I let you go, I just want to give you a couple of quick fire questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
Before we wrap. Okay. Right. Where's the best vegan you've had on tour?
Like ever or this tour?
This current tour.
Ooh. Unfortunately, I haven't had like the greatest food. I think the best food was prepared by the this was delicious. Was prepared by the organizers, founders of Nuff Said. They're a Moroccan, so they made like traditional Moroccan hummus and carrots and olives and vegan lasagna, and that food was amazing.
Right. Fantastic. Who would you say is your dream collaboration?
Mm, Kendrick.
Okay. The origin of big uterus energy.
Big uterus energy came from there's another expression that is vulgar called, that men tend to use,
Right.
uh, which to me is problematic to say the least. But I think that I wanted to talk about like the power that women hold, you know, whether like you've experienced uterine removal or not, like, but just the creator energy, like we are the original creators. And so like celebrating how powerful that makes us, you know, that we are life bringers and life givers, and especially in this space, how powerful that makes our voices, because what we speak, we create. So big uterus energy is just a calling card for women to walk around and take up all the space and just be unafraid of being vocal about their needs and demanding what they want.
Fantastic. Okay. If you could pick three of the best female MCs to join the Goddess gang, who would they be?
To join the Goddess gang. And it could be anybody, like
Any current female MC.
okay. I'll probably say Saba the Goddess. She's a dope MC out of Dallas, Texas. Dynasty, out of Queens. And then I would probably say Love the Genius.
Wow. Okay. What is your current reading book?
Right now, I'm reading a guilty pleasure book. Right now, I'm reading a Stephen King book, but that's the type of stuff you read on the plane. It's a book of short stories. I forget the name of it. It's sitting over here on my nightstand right now, but yeah, but it's a Stephen King, a book of short stories. It's perfect for tour, perfect for, you know, the plane travel, quick little read, keep the mind active. Oh, it's called Just After Sunset.
Just after. All right. Okay. Final question. Who would you say is like your biggest fashion inspirations?
Mm-mm-mm. That is a question right there. I'm trying to go through like my mental Rolodex. I'll say like, because I can't think of like a specific person right now who I think reflects my style the most, but I would say that there's these two cats called their collective is called Art Comes First.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they were based in London.
Mhm.
And they're just so fire. Like the way that they upcycle materials, the way that they use found items to incorporate in their stuff, that whole punk, you know, that whole vibe is so dope to me. It's so fly. I have a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
And that allows me to kind of like play around with this edgier side of my fashion sense and my style. So those are the cats who are always like inspiring me, and like, you know, they just do everything. They're so artistic and creative in everything that they do. So I'll definitely say Art Comes First. Shout out to Sam and Shaka.
Yeah, hopefully the brothers can come through to the show on Thursday.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to coming to see you live and actually finally meeting you and Soul Messiah in person.
Yes.
Once again, I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Sa-Roc, for joining us for this interview, and want to wish you continued success for this event until we see you in the UK.
Thank you. We can't wait. Oh my gosh.
Amazing. All the best. Take care.
Peace. You too.
Peace.
The stars and planets align. The day the architects